Welcome back to the workshop. I am in the middle of reorganizing my whole workshop. It takes up one side of a two-car garage. It's actually my wife's side. And I'm trying to get the tools more organized and get kind of a better workflow going. But what I've decided to do today is to start on a project that is for our local Woodworking Association's 2x4 contest. And if you don't know what that is, it's where you take one 8-foot long 2x4 and you build a project out of it. And really the only rule is that you just use the one 2x4, but you can also add up to 15% of other materials such as metal or plastic or something else. So I've got this southern yellow pine 2x4 that's already been cut down. Actually, this is left over from another project, and it's actually only 6 feet of 2x4. I have a 2-foot piece over there if I need it, but I think I'll be able to make my project with all of this, just the 6 feet of 2x4. And what I've come up with is I have a few of these cheap black plastic fans around the house, and basically it's just a plastic base, and the fan can be positioned like that. It's got a switch that turns it off, and it also has 3 separate speeds. So what I've decided to do is to recreate this fan out of wood. And so my first step is going to be taking the fan apart, and I'm going to use the cord, I'm going to use the motor inside, and I'm going to use the switch. So that way all that will still function as it does now. And I'm going to replace everything else, including the fan blades, with pieces from this 2x4 right here. So let's get started. Okay, I've got the motor out of the fan and the switch and the cord, and it was pretty easy to get out. It came out all in one piece, didn't have to disconnect anything. Here's a bunch of little parts that I'm going to keep, and maybe I can reuse those, especially the switch. I'll definitely reuse that. But some of the screws and washers and things I might be able to reuse. The 2x4 is 1.5 inches wide, so I'm going to rip it vertically in a couple passes and end up with 2 5/8 inch boards. Now I'm going to send the boards through the surface planer to plane them down to width. Alright, I'm ready to cut the side pieces to 10 inches in length, and I've set up my stop block here on the miter saw. I've built this jig that creates box joints or finger joints, and basically it's just a piece of oak with a 1/4 inch cutout with a 1/4 inch piece of oak coming out at a 90-degree angle, and then there's a 1/4 inch of space which I've tested with my drill bit, 1/4 inch drill bit, and then the 1/4 inch router bit. And this is what I'm going to use to make box joints or finger joints to join the sides of the fan together. So I'm going to put one piece up against the little post here, and then insert my 1/4 inch drill bit, and then put its mating piece up against the drill bit. That way they're all offset by a 1/4 inch, and then they'll fit together. And I'm just going to clamp it into place with a spring clamp. while I run it through the router. So that creates this box joint you can see here. That's a little tear out, so I can fix that with some glue, I think. Alright, now I'm going to glue up the box. Alright, got all the joints glued up, so now I'm going to clamp it in place. Cutting out pieces for the base of the fan. Okay, now I'm going to glue the stand for the fan, which is going to look something like this. So now I'm sanding all the corners flush. Alright, I've designed this little housing that's going to fit on the back. I didn't show how to cut the pieces because it's all just got to be customized to the particular fan motor that you have and the size fan you're making. But basically it's two vertical pieces, two horizontal pieces, and you can kind of see they're about the same size width of the fan, and then the height is going to allow the button to also be housed in that rectangle area there. Hi everybody, it's a couple days before the 2x4 contest, and I'm making good progress on my wooden fan. Basically I've got the box created and the mount in the back I've completed for the motor, and I also have the stand that it's going to stand on. It's going to be something like this, and then you're going to be able to adjust it up or down. Also, the tricky part was when I put the motor in this area here, I had to put a back plate on it, and it also has a 3-speed switch. So what I had to do was carefully create this back plate that's going to go on it like this, and it'll cover up the motor. It provides some ventilation, and I also had to do this little tricky part here where the switch is gonna, it comes through this side and it actually clips on, and then you put the knob on there, and the knob is recessed in the circle here. So that was kind of tricky getting all that lined up and cut out, but I think I got it pretty straight, and I'm just going to screw this on in case I have to remove it later and make some repairs. The next thing I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to try to get all the pieces finished. It's already almost 10 o'clock, so we'll see how that goes. But I think I'm going to put 2 more vertical pieces here for to protect people's fingers from getting into the fan. And then the only thing left to do are the fan blades and a grill for the front. Right here you can see I've cut out one of my fan blades. That's the shape I'm going to use. And notice I left a little tab here that I'm going to sand down into a round dowel shape, and that's going to allow me to glue it into the center shaft and I need to cut out 3 more of these, so I'm going to trace them out on the wood. There they are. Let's go over to the bandsaw. I've got my center post cut out and rounded over on the front. I need to drill a hole in the end so it'll fit onto the shaft of the motor, and also a hole on each side, and that will accept the fan blades. Alright, what I'm going to do for the front grill of the fan is I think I'm going to glue up this panel and then use the scroll saw to scroll out a design for the front grill, and it should look pretty cool. Alright, got that glued up, so let's let that set and move on to something else. Alright, for the front grill of the fan, I've decided to cut out some flames. It should look pretty cool. You can't go wrong with flames, so to cut this out, I have printed it out, stuck it on with some spray adhesive, and I'm just going to use my scroll saw. Alright, that's cool. Now I got some good flames. Alright, I've got all the parts laid out here, and they're still drying from the lacquer I sprayed on them, but they'll be ready for assembly in just about an hour or so. Alright, now I'm ready to assemble the fan. Right, I've got the motor and the switch mounted on the back plate, and now I'm just going to install this into the back of the fan. Alright, I have the motor installed inside the fan, and the back plate on, and the switch works. Next step is to install the fan blade, and I'm just going to simply push that on, and it's a friction fit. There we go. It's good. Right, I've got my holes drilled into the sides of the fan, and I've also got the holes drilled into the sides of the base. So now I'm going to stick a screw through here and bury it into the fan with some washers in between. Alright, I've got the fan mounted on the base, and you can see I can position it anywhere I want. There's the back. So it's looking pretty good. So the next thing I need to do is the easy part, and just put the flames on the front. Well, the fan is finished and it's working great. I'm very pleased with it. The fan's putting out some pretty good air. The flames don't do much for the airflow, but hey, they look cool. And it was pretty fun making this out of one 2x4. And actually, I only used about half of the 2x4. It took a lot of planing to get the wood down to this size. I had to resaw some of the 2x4. This was my first time doing box joints, which was cool because I made a jig on my router. And overall, I'm really pleased with it. I'm finished 2 days early, and I can't wait to see how it does in the contest on Saturday. So, yeah. So make one of your own. I'd love to see it. And we'll see you back in the workshop next time.